Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Nurturing Humboldt. In our last episode, we talked with Humboldt Domestic Violence Services about the importance of safety, support, and connection, and how community care can help people begin to heal. Now, that conversation really stayed with me, especially a point that was made towards the end of the episode that was talking about when you understand that you have autonomy and when you start to reflect inward is often time when we're able to make changes that are really positive and really consider how we're feeling and what we may be going through. So today, I want to take a pause, a resiliency pause, to reflect on how we can care for our own nervous system and the people around us, especially when things feel overwhelming. This episode will be a bit different, more like a guided conversation and reflection. I'll share some simple, practical practices from the Community Resilience Model, or CRM. You can find out more about CRM on our website under our offerings. This is an offering that we provide here at First Life Humboldt that our staff is trained in. And CRM really helps us reset to our natural balance and stay connected to ourselves and others, even in tough times. So life has felt kind of intense lately for many families, caregivers, and community members. Whether it's the stress of parenting, the weight of community issues, or just the daily pressure, our nervous systems are taking in a lot. Sometimes we don't even realize how much we're carrying until our body starts to tell us. Headaches, tension, snapping at the people we love, or feeling shut down and disconnected. The truth is, our bodies hold stories of stress. They remember even when we think we've moved on, and in our communities, those stories add up. When we're all living in survival mode, it can ripple outward into relationships, workplace, and parenting. That's why the idea of resiliency pause matters. It's not about pretending everything's fine. It's about giving ourselves permission to pause, notice, and gently come back to balance. I hope you can stay with me through this episode because I think it is very useful for all of us. And this theme has really been a center in our podcast, even going back to the very first podcast episode when we talked with Dr. Mangajas about ACEs. So through each episode, I do believe that this is kind of weaved in, but today we're dedicating time specifically to pause, notice, and think about coming back to balance. When we hear the word resilience, we often picture strength, toughness, the bouncing back. But resilience isn't about never falling apart. It's about finding ways to come back to ourselves after we do. Now, to understand where I'm coming from and the tools that I'm going to be sharing, I want to talk to you about that Community Resilience Model, CRM. CRM is a model designed to help people understand their nervous system and use simple skills to bring it back into balance. It's based on the science of how our bodies respond to stress, fight, flight, freeze, block, and how we can help ourselves come back into a sense of safety and connection. The goal is to build resiliency-informed communities where people understand trauma not as a weakness, but as a human response, and where we all share tools to help ourselves and others regulate and recover. This is a training that we've put on in the community for childcare providers, for case managers, and we're always open and invite us into your space if you want to learn more about CRM and want us to share it with your community. So today, I want to go over a few core skills. And if you'd like, feel free to follow along if it's safe for you to do so, or save this episode and come back to it when you want to take a pause. Now, the first skill that I want to talk to you about is tracking. Tracking means paying attention to the sensations in your body. Now, this is something that we might kind of try to get away from throughout the day with simple distractions such as scrolling on our phone or kind of just not really wanting to feel what our body feels. This is normal for us to look outward and not take time to look inward. So this idea of tracking invites you to notice what's happening in your body. You may notice your warmth. You may notice the warmth in your hands or your shoulders dropping slightly. You don't have to change anything, just notice what's there. So you may hear this in the community, you may hear this out when somebody's like, are you clenching your jaw? Relax your shoulders, breathe. It's those reminders to look inward. So I invite you to notice where you're at while you're listening to this podcast. Are you feeling thirsty? Are you having some tense shoulders that maybe you need to drop a bit? Do you want to feel connected to your body? Maybe you can rub your hands together and feel the warmth of your hands. Now, oftentimes, tracking might not be something that you want to do if you're experiencing physical pain. You might want to escape that physical pain and not really think about what's happening in your body. This is a great time and a good place to remind you that with tracking, you can try to find something that feels neutral in your body, something that it doesn't have to be pleasant. You might not feel great, but bringing attention to what's going on, even if it's a neutral sensation, can help us. When we bring awareness to the body, we give the nervous system space to shift. Now, the next skill that this model teaches us is resourcing. Think of a person, place, or memory that brings you comfort or strength. Maybe it's your child's laughter, your favorite hiking trail, or a cozy moment on the couch. Resourcing is a really great skill to use when you need to pull some strength from somewhere else. Now, resourcing is fun because it could be imaginary or real, and this is a good skill to teach our kids too. You can tell them, okay, the first day of school, it might be scary, and so maybe you need to imagine yourself as your favorite superhero. Maybe you gotta think that you're Spider-Man, and if you're feeling scared, you gotta channel them and feel brave. Now, this is a great thing to talk with our kids, but it's also really great for us. I know sometimes I'm feeling overwhelmed, and if I need to regulate myself a little bit, I have memories with my husband that I can think back of that make me chuckle or they make me laugh, or I tend to pull to the water a lot. So I think of the ocean and times I've been at the beach. So resourcing is really about finding something that is pleasant or neutral that can bring you back to yourself. I invite you, if you want, to think about a resource now for yourself and notice what happens in your body as you recall that. Maybe your breathing slows or your jaw softens. That's your nervous system coming back into balance. Now, grounding might be something that you're more familiar with, especially up here in Humboldt, because the landscape allows us to ground so easily than if we were in a larger city with less trees and oceans and forest. Grounding is really about your connection to the earth. Grounding is feeling where your body is in relation to the earth. It's looking around your space. And if you want to try it now, you can look around your space. You can try to name 3 things you can see. Feel your feet on the floor. If you're sitting, feel the support of your chair, the air on your skin. This simple awareness can bring you out of racing thoughts and into the present moment. Now, this is a resource you can use wherever you're at. If you're at work and you're feeling stressed out, maybe it's time to ground yourself and know that you're safe and that your connection to the earth holds you. Now, we've talked about tracking, resourcing, and grounding. And one other skill I want to teach you and talk to you about is called gesturing. Now, gesturing is something that we pretty much do unconsciously, sometimes when we're scared or when we're feeling angry or when we need to feel powerful. Our bodies naturally respond in a way that is called gesturing. Now, gesturing explains that sense of communication that we do so well without even talking. It's what our physical body is doing to portray or reflect a certain feeling. So maybe you're giving a presentation and you need to feel powerful. You might put both hands on your hips and stand tall and feel brave for a second. You might stand up taller and open up your shoulders and really let your heart come forward. You're standing in that power pose. So if you want to try it, you can let your body move in a way that feels settling. Maybe stretch, place a hand over your heart, or exhale fully. Our bodies often know what they need to regulate. So you might want to notice when you're gesturing throughout the day. That could be frowning your face, and that's bringing awareness to what's happening in your body. So it's tracking, and maybe you think about gesturing by relaxing your face and doing something else that could bring your body some peace. And our bodies often know what they need to regulate. I know so often when I talk with people in my life and, they're stressed and something comes up, they naturally do what their body needs to regulate. So taking a big sigh, or maybe standing up, drinking some water, all of these things are so useful. So let's talk about what this looks like in real life. As a parent or caregiver and helpers, we're often the ones holding a lot, managing feelings, work, responsibilities, and everything in between. It can be easy to forget that our nervous system needs care too. Imagine your child is melting down or you're feeling overwhelmed at work. Taking your own resiliency pause might look like taking one grounding breath before responding, putting a hand on your chest and noticing your heart rate, telling yourself you're safe, looking out the window and naming what you see to anchor yourself. These small resets help you respond instead of react. And when we practice these skills, we model resilience for our kids. They learn it's okay to pause, to name what they feel, and to use the body as a source of support. In our community, this looks like giving one another grace, recognizing that when someone is short-tempered, it might be stress or overwhelm, not who they are, not who you are. The more we understand how our bodies work, the more compassion we can bring into ourselves and others. That's community resilience in action. Now, I hope to take many more resiliency pause together in this podcast, and I'll talk to you about many different skills we can utilize. But today I wanted to focus on this model since it's just on our mind here at work. Let's take a brief pause together. Take a breath in and slowly exhale. Notice your body, your feet, your seat, your breath, and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now in my body? What's one thing that helps me feel more grounded? It might be nature, movement, connection, quiet, whatever it is, hold it in your awareness for a moment. This is the heart of the resiliency pause, returning again and again to the body's wisdom. As we wrap up, I want to remind you that resiliency isn't something that we have to do alone. It grows in a community through care, connection, and the willingness to pause together. If today's conversation sparked something for you, try weaving one of these skills into your day. Maybe you notice your breath during a busy moment, or take a few seconds to feel your feet on the ground before a tough conversation. You can learn more about the Community Resilience Model, like I mentioned, on our website under offerings. And if you want us to come out to your workplace or somewhere you know, feel free to get in contact with us and we could put on a CRM class for you. Thank you for joining me for this resiliency pause. Let's keep building communities that can bend but not break together. Until next time, take care of yourselves and one another.